you have a 24-hour white glove service, a guest assistance type program. If you could just, give guests some comfort for that are going to go to some of these regions that you and I have been to 100 times and have had
Right.
great experiences, but to someone who is a little concerned, and they should be sometimes, you don't want to go in there foolhardy.
Right.
Can you talk about that program and how that is an assistance program?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you said it really well in the fact that it is, even if you're out of your comfort zone, you're still comfortable, whether it's hotel, whatever the case. But that's what white glove service is about. It was born at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is when most of those events occur anyway. But it's the little touch, right? So our industry has always had, and almost every industry, right? So automotive, restaurants, they all have this notion of once you leave that destination, leave that restaurant, leave that auto dealership, that you're happy and no news is good news. Well, that's not always the case. So white glove service is about going and actually asking questions and actually proactively saying, hey, was that okay? What did you think of that? Or being able to open a dialogue. Right? So imagine, flying somewhere, you're halfway around the world. And as you said, you're not going in full hard, but people have some concerns. So imagine going somewhere overseas. And when you land there, you have a list of local numbers for our guide, our country manager, that if something happens to call. Now, take a step back and think about this for a second. If you are 3,000 miles away or 20,000 miles away or whatever the case may be, would you call somebody you don't know to solve a problem that you don't know if they could solve? Or would it be better if somebody called you to welcome you and said, now, these are the numbers that are here. These people know you're here. We know you're here. So if you feel comfortable calling us stateside, call us stateside. If you feel comfortable calling our in-country, call in-country. Go ahead and whatever the case, let's open the dialogue for you so you can actually have that conversation. You can go through and ask for little things. And it's not problems. It's more so going through and asking questions and little requests. So, for example, a request for a teddy bear, or as has happened, a request for a root canal on New Year's Eve in Argentina, or a request for a doctor, or a request for the perfect dinner for a birthday. It's about knowing what you want before you want it. And the best part of white glove service is I'm the president of the company. Every single guide, when they're reporting to white glove service, every bit of information filters to me immediately, whether it's lost luggage, whether it's that. I mean, I could literally pick up the phone I'm talking on right now, and in 5 minutes tell you where any guest is around the world and what they're doing, where they are, what they're doing, if they have their bags, what they experience. And what that leads to is an entire team that believes in working in concert. So that means that if you're traveling through Chile and then to Argentina, or Peru and then Ecuador, or Kenya and then Tanzania, well, let's say you start in one country. By the time you get to the next country, the guides on ground there already know what's happened. They already know what you've experienced. So another great example, we had a guest who was actually in Tanzania who fell in love with honey, specific honey at the Hadza tribes. By the time they landed in Nairobi, we had a jar of that honey waiting for them because we knew they liked it. Little touches like that, that's what white glove service is about.
Ashish, we are enormous proponents of travel insurance, and we did a travel insurance demystified product to do just that, demystify a misunderstood product. So think about how powerful it is when we connect a client with the right policy at a TravelX or an Allianz, for example, and layer on top of that Big Five's white glove service. Now the client has a local contact that is vetted, and they can call or can call them. And again, it just shows how powerful it is when we pool our resources on a client's behalf. And earlier, I just want to say, I mentioned one of our core philosophies, becoming an expert in you. Well, the other core philosophy or principle is we are not your ordinary travel advisors. We are your extraordinary travel advocates. That fits really, really well with your white glove service.
It's one less phone call to make. Yeah, you're spot on. It's one less phone call to make, and you named some great companies. Companies that understand when an emergency occurs, that people aren't looking to fumble through a Rolodex or through an iPhone or through an Android looking for numbers. They want something handy. So we're able to do that. We work in conjunction with all of them. Whether it's setting up direct billing if something has happened, or notifying or helping open a claim, or whatever the case may be. Even something as simple as lost luggage, keeping receipts for what you bought to replace the luggage, little things like that. That's what it comes down to. So I think spot on.